Most stories that start with a body in the water usually end with a badge, a gun, and me walking away in slow motion. This one? It started with a damn invitation. Middle of the night, 3:14 a.m. I was halfway through a bottle of wild turkey, watching old westerns on mute, when I heard the envelope slide under the door. Black paper, gold seal, no sender. Just sitting there like it had paid rent. I picked it up, sliced it open with a switchblade I'd been carrying since Die Hard 2, and read the card. You were cordially invited to witness the reactivation of Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary. June 15, 2025. Midnight. Transportation will be provided. Discretion is expected. No RSVP. No explanation. Just Alcatraz in bold. I lit a cigarette with my eyes. I hadn't set foot on that rock since I shot a guy in Block C during a prison movie I didn't finish. Now they were reopening it? I should have said no. I should have poured another drink. But when you're Bruce Willis and trouble sends a limo, you don't ask questions. Next night, black SUV shows up outside my LA apartment. Driver's built like a fridge with anger issues. Doesn't say a word. Just nods and drives. We roll over Golden Gate under skies that look like someone poured oil into heaven. Fog clings to the bridge like it's scared of what's coming. By the time we hit Pier 33, the city's just a ghost in the rear view. The ferry is matte black. Military-grade silence. No windows. No logos. I step inside and count 8 passengers. Briefcases, sunglasses, one guy with a collar, priest or actor, hard to tell. None of us talk. Just breathing the same thick silence. 37 minutes later, we dock. Alcatraz. The island looks like it's still pissed they closed it in the 60s. Guards meet us, black body armor, visors, rifles with more attachments than my last marriage. They're not here for show. She walks out next, clipboard, tailored coat, cheekbones you could cut glass on. Cold voice, colder eyes. Welcome, she says. You're here because you've either seen too much or not enough. Tonight, we reopen the gates. She doesn't blink. We walk into the main block. Place smells like ghosts and bleach. Flickering green lights overhead. I can hear doors slamming in the distance. No tourists here, just secrets. She stops at cell block D. There's someone you need to meet, she says, and opens a pressure-locked door. Inside? Carter Briggs. Last time I saw him, he was on every screen in America, leaking NSA files and calling the president a glorified vacuum salesman. He was declared dead in 2018. But here he is. Pale. Tired. Alive. Bruce, he says, like we're old bar buddies. Didn't I go to your funeral? He smiles. You didn't clap. Then the lights flicker. And everything goes to hell. Lights went out like someone pulled the plug on the sun. No warning. Just black. And in black, you hear everything, your breath, your heartbeat, and the footsteps that aren't yours. Then, bang. Gunshot. Close. Echoed like it came from inside my own head. Emergency lights kicked in, painting the room hell red. A suit lay on the floor, brain matter decorating the wall behind him. No name tag. No ID. Just a cheap burner phone in one hand and a tattoo on his wrist, 3 concentric circles. Looked like a cult. Or a warning. The priest was screaming it wasn't him. The guards weren't listening. Clipboard Queen didn't even flinch. She turned to the nearest commando and said, "Lock it down." I was already against the wall. One of the guards tried to take my phone. I glared. "Son, I've been to outer space and back. You want to play? Try me." He backed off. Smart kid. They started running checks on everyone. Dead guy? Total ghost. No paper trail, no prints in any system. Whoever he wasn't here for the catered tour. He came to open a door. Carter leaned in close while the room buzzed with radio static. You see that symbol? I've seen it in worse places than prison, I muttered. That's not a man. It's a trigger. For what? He stared straight ahead. Not what? Who? I started to feel that itch in my spine, the one that usually means someone's about to die screaming. I followed it. Slipped out when nobody was watching. Down a side corridor. Maintenance hatch. No guards. No cameras. Just my boots and a hunch. I dropped into a hallway that hadn't seen daylight since Kennedy was breathing. Cold hit me like a punch. Lights flickered. Every door down here had warning labels in military font. Level 6 access only. Project Delta. Do not engage subject. This wasn't a prison. It was a vault. And they weren't storing people. They were storing mistakes. I reached a steel door crusted with frost. The glass was fogged over, but something moved behind it. A shape. Too tall. Too still. I stepped closer. That's when I heard it. Bruce. Whispered. Not like a voice. More like a memory breathing through a crack in the world. It said it again. Bruce, I don't scare easy. I've faced German terrorists, space meteors, and my own filmography from 2007 to 2013. But this was something else. Then it knocked. 3 times. Soft. Slow. Like it was being polite. I backed away, heart pounding like a snare drum. Tried to leave. The door next to me opened. Guard, visor up, sweating like a pig at a barbecue. You're not supposed to be here. No kidding. He motioned for me to follow. I did, mostly because I didn't like what was behind door number 1. We made it back to the main block. Everyone looked shaken. Even Ice Queen's posture cracked a little. You've got something down there that knows my name, I said. You're mistaken. I raised an eyebrow. You really want to play poker with me? She hesitated, then said, there are subjects anomalies. Alcatraz was chosen for its isolation. Carter, still cuffed, barked a laugh. Tell him the truth. This isn't a prison. It's a garbage can for the government's nightmares. And what's behind the frost door? I asked. He didn't answer, but something did. The lights dimmed again. Then, another voice. Not whispering this time. Laughing. Slow. Echoed. Like it was bouncing off more than just walls. Like it was inside the walls. Carter went pale. It's out. I turned to him. What is it? His eyes locked onto mine. They called it echo. It's not a person. It's what happens when the surveillance net watches something it shouldn't. It stared too long into the dark, and the dark looked back. The hallway trembled. Screams. Far off. Then gunfire. Then nothing. Bruce, it whispered again. Yeah. I'm flattered. I muttered, pulling my .38 and spinning the cylinder. And what do you do with an echo? I asked Carter. He looked dead serious. You don't. You run. Past cells, past guards with fried radios and bleeding noses, past security doors that should have stayed shut. The whole prison pulsed like it had a heartbeat. Echoes in the walls. Lights flickering in a rhythm that didn't feel random anymore. Every step felt like we were being herded. Where are we going? I shouted. Carter didn't look back. Up. Out. Wherever he isn't. But he was the wrong word. The thing we were running from had shape, sure, but not form. It had a voice, but no throat. Eyes once covered in cloth, now unblinking pits that drank in the world. And he knew me. You can deal with bullets. You can punch your way out of a fist fight. But how the hell do you fight something that remembers you before you ever meet it? We made it into the command hub, empty. Monitors crackling with static. One screen still worked, showing hallway footage. But in each frame, where echo passed, the image twisted. Cameras bled color. Guards twitched. A timestamp reversed. One clip showed me, twice. In the same frame. One version walking forward. One walking backward. Carter slammed a button to lock the doors. That'll buy us 2 minutes. Maybe. I wiped sweat from my brow. You ever think this isn't just surveillance gone wrong? Maybe this was the point. Maybe the people running Loom wanted to find the edge of reality. They didn't just find it, he said. They built a door. And forgot to lock it. That's when the sirens failed. All at once, screens went black. Then white. Then showed coordinates. Latitude. Longitude. 1 point, blinking red, over a dark patch of Pacific Ocean. No islands. No charts. Just water, and the implication that something came from there. Then I heard the knock again. No door this time. Inside the room. I turned, and there he was. Echo. Standing in the corner like he'd always been there. Same suit. No shoes. No shadow. Eyes like event horizons. Everything in the room leaned toward him. Carter froze. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't blink. I raised the .38. Echo smiled. Not like a person. More like something rehearsing humanity. I fired. 3 times. The bullets slowed midair. Bent. Dropped. He tilted his head. Said one word. Remember. Suddenly my head filled with noise. Not sound. Noise. Voices layered over images layered over smells. A woman screaming. A child crying. My own voice reading classified files I'd never seen. Dates. Faces. Wars that never happened. Carter collapsed, foaming at the mouth. I felt blood run from my nose. Then, he blinked, and vanished. No flash. No smoke. Just air, filled with static. The monitors rebooted. Only one showed anything now. A camera feed from cell block Z, deepest level. It showed Echo. Still standing. Still smiling. Still waiting. 2 of him. I holstered the .38. Looked at Carter. You said run. I'm thinking we go deeper. He groaned. You're insane. No, I said. I'm just tired of shadows whispering my name and no one listening. We opened the emergency hatch and dropped into the dark below Alcatraz, beneath the prison, beneath the labs, beneath even the worst secrets. Where the nightmares weren't locked up. They were born. We dropped straight into hell. No lights. No maps. Just a ladder soaked in condensation and secrets. Below us was a tunnel. Curved, smooth, concrete that looked poured by hands too careful to be human. Fluorescent strips buzzed overhead, but gave off no warmth. Just cold clarity. Carter limped beside me, one arm clutched to his ribs. You sure this is a good idea? Nope, I said. But neither was Die Hard 5, and I still showed up. We followed the tunnel until it opened into what looked like a chapel, stone benches, a raised platform, and murals on the wall that didn't match any religion I'd seen. Circles within circles, eyes drawn over oceans. Human figures bent backwards, mouths open like they were mid-scream or mid-prayer. This isn't a prison, Carter whispered. It's a summoning chamber. Yeah, well, I muttered. They summoned the wrong thing. In the center stood a chair, more like a throne, wired with cables, for tubes, and something that looked suspiciously like spinal implants. Above it hung a glowing ring, spinning slowly in the air, dripping thin threads of silver light. Welcome, a voice said. We turned. The old man from earlier stepped out of the shadows. Still sharp. Still too calm for everything that was happening. I figured you'd come, he said to me. Who the hell are you? I asked. I built Project Loom. Of course he did. You opened the door, Carter growled. The man nodded. We wanted to see everything. But there were side effects. Echo was one. He's not malicious. He's just unfinished. Like a half-written sentence in the universe. And the bodies? I asked. He looked down. Collateral. I walked toward him slow. So what now? We just leave? Pretend none of this happened. He smiled. You already know the truth, Bruce. That's why we invited you. Not because you could stop it, but because it wants you to know. The lights dimmed. The mural behind him began to move, not figuratively. Literally. The stone shimmered. The eyes blinked. Carter fell to his knees. It's awake. Echo stepped out from the far side of the room. Not rushed. Not angry. Just present. Like he belonged. The old man bowed his head. He followed you here. I raised my gun again. No bullets left, but it felt good. Echo raised a hand. Behind him, the glowing ring expanded. Sound warped. Like someone bending vinyl in reverse. The murals peeled from the walls and spilled into the air. Colors that didn't exist outside dreams. Reality bent. Time staggered. And then, silence. When I woke up, I was on the dock. Alone. Alcatraz behind me. Dark, dead, and silent. No guards. No lights. No Carter. No Echo. Just fog and salt air. The next day, the government issued a statement. Infrastructure collapse due to seismic activity. They declared the island structurally unsound. 10-mile no-fly zone. Armed naval presence 24/7. I tried to talk. To publish. To warn. Every attempt erased. Emails never sent. Phone wiped. My apartment? Cleared like I'd never lived there. Now I sit in a motel off Highway 1. Tape recorder rolling. Windows closed. Gun on the table. And sometimes, at night, I hear it. 3 knocks. Always polite. Always patient. Echo never left. He just waited. And somewhere, in some forgotten dimension of fractured time and collapsed surveillance, he still says my name. Soft. Steady. Bruce.